one of my own students who won't be a student much longer. She'll be finally graduating out of the Spiral Light program, but she's an awesome practitioner. And I really wanted to bring her on to the show today to talk about her experience as a Spiral Light practitioner, when she came into it and what it was like. And please, please, please welcome my guest, Angie. Angie, how are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing so well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I was looking so forward to having this interview with you to put this together. And you know what? I'm very tech um, challenged, but
Same here.
this
Same.
week with you, I learned how to do a screenshot and send it to you, and then to do the first YouTube interview on my platform. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's different from doing it on Instagram. But this is
Yes.
really nice. I like this. So tell me what actually drew you into Spiral Light? How did you really feel drawn to becoming a practitioner to study it? And what has it been like since you've been studying it? And actually, how have you been implementing it with your other healing modalities? And what do you do for a living?
Well, I am an esthetician and intuitive energy worker. And so what that means is I beautify the face. And really primarily, if I could sum it up into one category, is I love making people feel good. And every aspect of my job does that. So I'm a feel good maker. I don't know, is that a thing? Maybe we'll make it a
It
thing
is.
today.
It is.
Um,
It's for the
so
new world. It's for the whole new world coming in. The new Earth platform.
yes. So as far as healing work goes, I work with removing stagnant energy off of the body, as well as guided meditation, sound therapy, work with crystals, cutting cords, kind of all of those energy modalities, as well as like home cleansings. And now I get to incorporate Spiral Light in. My journey with Spiral Light started when one of my dear friends said, "Hey, I know this lady that I think you'd really dig." And so I started to follow Miss Felicia, the goddess herself,
What do
on,
what do?
yes, ma'am, that's you, on social media. And I just started doing kind of following your card reads. And then I started listening to you about Spiral Light and kind of just understanding that Spiral Light works on a more cellular level, which got me really excited because I know what removing energy can do to the body and how it can help and improve things, just simply from being on my own journey to improve myself and bring myself to a higher level, and kind of introduce myself to my highest self, and understanding that she is exactly where I want to be always. So Spiral Light and you, Miss Felicia, was that next step for me. And I had been doing intuitive work for a couple years prior to learning Spiral Light. And it has just been so amazing just in what it's done for myself, because I do little healings of myself all the time. I'm like, oh, I can't sleep tonight. Let's bring in a pyramid.
Love
um,
it.
but
Love it.
as well as just really teaching me that I am limitless. And under old programming, it really sounds crazy. Like, what do you mean I can do that? But I've experienced it. I know it's being done. And I have to say, water transfers are my absolute favorite. They are the most impactful. They're incredible.
Yes.
And like the biggest blessing up until now was the change that I could see on someone's face when I did permanent makeup and, gave them eyebrows that they've never had for their entire life. And all of a sudden they get to wake up with eyebrows. And what a blessing that is for them. But after seeing their face after a water transfer, it's like a whole new boggling of their imagination. And they look at me like I'm some kind of magical pixie. And they're like, I don't know what you're doing, but okay, it worked.
Yes.
my
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so my favorite, I mean, there's so many um things that make so many stories that I could share that make me feel so good inside about the kind of healing that I can bring to someone, like reducing their pain. I had a client come in and she travels from very far away. And so anytime that she's in the area, she tries to make an appointment with me for a skin service. And this time we were chatting and she was telling me about her anxiety. And I said, well, are you open to alternative therapies? And she's like, well, what do you mean? I said, like energy work, that kind of thing, metaphysical stuff. And she's like, well, I don't really know anything about it, but I'm not closed off to it. And I said, okay, we're going to try something before you leave. And so after her skin service, I went and got some water and I had her take a sip of it. And I said, okay, now pay attention to how it tastes, what it feels like in your mouth. And then I gave her some frequencies for anxiety.
Yes.
And especially, it was right before Thanksgiving. So, especially the holidays can be extremely terrifying or hard for a lot of people. And so I gave her a little frequency for anxiety. And I had her taste it after I did it. And she sat there and she watched me, work my magic. And then she tasted it and she was like, how does this taste different? And I was like, yeah, right? And she's like, yeah. And I said, okay, well, you just let me know how you feel in a couple days. And she's like, okay. And she left. That's all we said about it. That's all we did. I didn't charge her for it. I was like, let's just try this and see what happens, right?
Mhm.
And a couple days later, she texted me and she was like, I don't know what you did or how you did it, but it totally worked. So thank you. And so she made it through like all the suffering with this anxiety, and she was able to have a wonderful, relaxed time with her
Yes.
family.
Yes.
So that's kind of, and then a few days later, like maybe a week later, she texted me on her way back to Texas and said, so the day before Thanksgiving, I broke my foot. Is there anything you can do without me being there? And I was like, okay, first of all, she's into it. She's hooked.
Yes.
Um, but second of all, absolutely send me a picture of water.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. 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 Oh my gosh. I love it. How did she do with the water for her foot? Did it help alleviate the pain?
I have not heard back from her yet. I think she's been
Oh,
traveling.
okay. She's still
Um,
talking.
yes. But I did another one for a client that came in today, and I just did a little bit of a pain frequency because she was telling me how she was decorating for the holidays and doing it all on her own, and she needs knee replacements and all of this stuff. And I said, well,
Mm.
let me just see if I can help you with your pain. And as she was walking out, she was like, I feel pretty good right now. I said, let me know how you feel in a couple days.
Yes. 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 This is why we do what we do,
Yes.
because to be in the galactic spiral light energy, we're up on that 12th and 13th dimension, and we're working with that deep connection into that God particle self and God connection, a source creator. So when we bring that energy in and we bring those frequencies in and those colors in, and then we give it and put it into the water and then have someone drink it, it's like the water itself is a living being. And this is what a lot of people forget. It's a living being. And when we take in that beautiful essence of that divine water and we love it, we talk to it, we can put it into a color glass and drink the color frequency of that, how it will affect our bodies. And it's one of the reasons why when I started this work, I just had no clue where it was going to be taking me, what I was going to be doing with it. And then trying to describe to people, what do I do? I said, well, I work with frequency and colors, and I teach other people how to heal themselves and how to work with their bodies and to do this. And they're like, oh, you mean like Reiki? I said, no, it's a little different than Reiki, but it can enhance Reiki and it
Yeah.
can enhance pranic work. It can enhance any other healing modality that you're doing, but it's just a deeper doorway in, how we go in deeper into the cells and do that deeper work. And one of the things I find, the more open a person is to receiving it, the faster they heal, the faster they move through whatever timeline, injury, or whatever they've been experiencing starts to really dissipate and heal itself. But the ones that are more afraid, or they're not open, or they have other things going on, they're more challenging, and it doesn't work as fast with them because they are not open to receiving it due to extreme fear or doubts or whatever. But one of the things I really found when I was working with you, and now it is one of your top modalities that you can do with no problems. I remember when part of the testing is, okay, now it's time to do the water transfers. And I remember how stressed out you were getting trying to do it. And you were just like, oh my God, I can't do it. If I don't get this, I can't be a practitioner. And oh, I can't do my water thing. All the things that you were going through. And I would get off the phone and I would be like, you're going to get this. You wouldn't have came to me if you were not going to be a practitioner holding
Yeah.
this beautiful divine light activation in you, and you're gonna get this. And I would just say, you got this. This is just a part of moving through you to really trust yourself. And that's the beauty of it. When I bring students in and I'm working with them, this is totally different. This is not where you're going to go sign up for a package. You're going to sign up, but you're not going to go get all these videos that are listed for you to have. This is more of this one-on-one. We have this chit chat. It's been a lot of ups and downs trying to figure out which way to do it. Is Zoom's working? Oh, it's not working for us. Let's do this. Oh, it's not working. Okay, we're going to do it in Signal. Okay, this is working. Oh, we're not going to go here. We're going to do it over here. And just to have that one-on-one, have that private group, doing the audios, doing the video teachings, and then being able to talk after each section that is being presented is mind-boggling, to the point to where it's like, okay, this is taking in, this is going, because you have that connection. There's no gap. There's no like, oh, when can I contact this person to talk to them, or I got to send an email. This is all contained in our group, and we move, and whatever one person is going through, if they need support, we have that. And we're able to go in and look at different cases together and figure that out. So how have you been able to just kind of blend this in with other parts of yourself? How have you used it for yourself? How has that been for you, just as a practitioner?
Um, well, one thing, this program is definitely more of a mentorship than what I would say is a traditional class kind
Yes.
of program.
Mhm.
Second of all, my biggest obstacle is generally, and I think it's true for a lot of people, is myself getting in the way. So like with water transfers, I was the one that was in my own way. And just through the teachings and the studying and all of the videos and information that you share, I really truly have learned and believe at my core I am limitless. And this is absolutely something that works. And especially with the water transfers and the healing pyramids, it's the feedback is always positive. It's always, oh wow, I'm feeling this or I'm feeling that. And um so I have, before I started offering it, I did a test group of hands-on, and I chose all people that I know that are already healers and doing healing work, have done healing, um, intuitive studies, that kind of thing, because I knew that they could give me a specific
Mm-hmm.
feedback,
Yes.
where someone who hasn't studied it maybe wouldn't be able to give me exactly the feedback that I was looking for, or, get as in depth because they are, going through the healing, and the ability to combine it with like a physical pull of energy, as well as working on different dimensions and timelines, ancestral, genetic, to remove all of these blockages and allow these people to step into their highest, best self so that they can live, their best life,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
free of pain or things that have tormented them for so long. Is just, I am in such deep gratitude for the ability to offer this. And I have not combined it a lot, but I have on a couple of people with other modalities. And I do suffer from a condition called OCH, which is out of control healer. And I just literally always want to help someone.
I love it.
So
Well,
sometimes I
I've
have
been
to
out of
like,
control ever since I was born. No wonder I
so
got in trouble so much.
yes, yes. So,
I
like,
love it.
I mean, for example, throwing down healing in the middle of the T-Mobile store. But anyways, that's another story.
Yes.
Uh,
Horizon for me.
so, like, I have to be very cognizant of the effect that it's having on them, and you know, just really being connected to source energy and listening very carefully to what the client actually needs, so that I'm not going overboard and
Right.
making them be like, oh my God, I'm like swirling. I can't drive home.
I
So,
remember when I first did a spiral light treatment on a client, and I was just, from the other side, getting all my training from the star beings and how I was supposed to implement this. Some of the training that I went through was like, really, you put me through this, when all you had to do is show me how to do it like this. And they said, we'd like to teach you in steps. And I'm like, okay,
yeah.
fine. But I just remember when I'm working with the clients and when they are really going into themselves and going into that place, and I say, go to that timeline and we're going to release that timeline and we're clearing that. Now you're going to see this spiral color come in of this. Now the golden light's coming in. Now the purple's coming in. And they'd be like, those colors were already coming in before you even said it. And the feelings that they get. And every time after they've had their treatment, they sit up, they're on the side of the table and they're like, wow, I feel like I'm not in my body. So then it was immediately hand on the head and back of the table and pull them in together. And I said, okay, take a deep breath, breathe. And they're like, wow, I feel so good. And I think what is so good about it, this modality, it just really goes in so deep. But here's the beautiful part about it. And I want to see how you feel about this. I noticed the more I used it, the better I felt. The
Mhm.
more every time I use Spiral Light for someone else, the better I felt, because I'm being in that conduit to allow that energy to go in to assist that individual so that they can start healing themselves. They do the work, but we're just guiding them into that sacred space so they can receive those codes, so they can get that healing that they need for their bodies. And I really, I really am feeling very honored, one, to have worked with you as long as we've been
Mm.
working together. And the other beautiful practitioners that are in our group that are really making a difference and an impact on the East Coast. One in Chicago, you're here, I'm here. I have one in Oklahoma. I haven't had a lot of time to connect with her on it, everything, but it's just been so honoring to do this work. And it's almost like we're this new type of energy that's coming in to help clear the way and provide a safe, sacred space so people can heal themselves and actually take ownership for healing themselves, not thinking that we are going to do it for them. No, no, no. You're going to do it. You're going to let go of it. You're going to trust yourself, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to receive it, and you're going to see the results. That's how we're doing this. And that's what I love about it.
Yep.
So I just, what else would you like to share with everybody about being a practitioner of Spiral Life?
Um, well, I think kind of going to what you just said, I had one person, she was giving a group event, and she all of a sudden looked at me and she's like, Angie, is there anything that you want to share that's
Uh-oh.
new for you? And I just kind of looked at it like,
Well,
and then she goes, career wise. And I was like, oh, right. So I told the group about Spiral Light, and her response to them was, it's an absolutely beautiful practice. And the greatest thing about it is you don't have to do anything. You just lay there and Angie does all the work. And in my mind, I'm thinking, that's not true.
yeah, it's
I'm
not
just a
true.
guide.
No.
But also going to the state of the energy in the world now, like we are definitely making this transition from a thinking space
Mhm.
to a more feeling space,
Yes.
and that is a rough transition for a lot of
Yes.
people,
It is.
especially since no one on the planet has ever experienced this energy except for like 2-year olds, right?
Right.
That are just being born, and they're born into this energy and they got it, they know what it's all about. Um but I think that we have always been here.
Mhm.
We just haven't always had the confidence to step into our power and show who we are. And
Mhm.
the energy transition now is really allowing all of us healers. I mean, literally, we are all healers.
Yes.
We just have to get out of our own way.
Yes.
And being able to clear our stuff, like people ask me what energy work is, and I just kind of sum it up like, well, I'm clearing all my chitta so that my
Mhm.
soul can hear what your soul has to say, and then I translate it.
Yes.
And that's really what it is, because we're being in Spiral Light, we're being guided by source energy. And the only reason why we can be guided by that energy is because we've cleared our telephone lines so that the only connection we have is source energy. And we're
Yes.
hearing the messages very clearly.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, I just wanted to connect with you. Is there any way that you want to leave any info, like a web page or anything of what your services are, and people can get in contact with you? You have anything you want to leave?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on the socials at Skin by Angie, as well as my website is very long and obnoxious, but it's www.skinbyangie.skincaretherapy.net.
There you go.
But again, the socials are probably the easiest way. I'm located in Rockland, California, is where my studio is. Yeah, girl. Hey, neighbors. Um, and I do private healings. I do skin therapy. I do semi-permanent cosmetics. And I also do little private events. So up to about 4 people. We do like a little healing session with cacao ceremony. I've done mothers
Nice.
and daughters and sisters and different family members or just best friends having, a little event. It's very cush and cozy, and I make these really cute little soft beds, and it's just a really lovely time that we get to share where you get to set down everything that's on the mind and
Mm,
let go of it. And I just kind of help guide you through that. So
I love
that's
it.
what I am blessed enough to get to do every day.
Love
Not to
it,
brag.
love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Well, Angie, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure to have you on to talk about the healing modality of Spiral Light,
It's
how
amazing.
we do our galactic work in being of service. We're showing up and we're being of service. We're doing it in these challenging times of evolution of mankind, of where we're shifting out of that third and we're moving past that 5, 6, and 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th, and we're moving into unlimitedness being. We need to start enhancing ourselves with that and really allowing ourselves to believe that we are unlimited. And I
Absolutely.
want to say thank you so much for sharing your time. I know you're really busy, but I do want to talk to you a little later about some things, some events coming up, and I want to see if you'd like to connect and do some of these events with me.
Hashtag the answer is yes.
Oh, hashtag yes, we'll do. Beautiful.
Thank you so
So
much for
thank
having me. It
you.
was such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. So that concludes our show for today, everyone. So once again, we share with you much love and be soul light. Bye.